Hello and welcome to part 3 of scratch building a oo9 engine shed. As you can see from the last episode, all the roof is on and the main structure is near enough finished now, apart from a few detail bits. But at this stage I want to look at how I'm going to be lighting up this engine shed, because if possible I want to try and light up every single building on this layout if possible. So just going to look at how I plan on lighting this engine shed up. Now the position it's in now is where episode 7 of the oo9 build is going to be focused on next. So as I explained in the last episode, I'm just doing little bits ready for that episode. So let's look at how we're doing the lighting. The first thing I need to do is work out the route for the lighting and how many bulbs I need for this engine shed. So I decided that I'm going to need 2. So I'm going to have one bulb around here, one LED bulb around here, and there'll be one around here. And then I need to work out how the wires from the LEDs are coming out of the building and through the baseboard. Now what I plan on doing is this bit at the back, these timbers I'm going to cover up with some of the adhesive sheet again, just at the back, and behind that will be where the wires go down. Now what I've done just on the end here, I've cut out a piece of the frame and the back of the duct, so basically the wire will go through there and then down through the back wall of the shed. So if we look this side, there'll be a back wall along there and a back wall along there, and the wire will just go through the middle, so you won't see the wire at all because it'll go through the middle. I've also pre-drilled a hole to the end here, so hopefully it should line up with the wire what's in the wall. So we know how the wire's going out. How are we attaching the bulbs to a wire through the baseboard? Well, true Blue Peter style again. This is what I made earlier, and this is like my light loom for that engine shed. So this one will be going at the front and this one will be going at the back. Now I've got the 2 wires soldered up, but I've got the wires staggered. So the black wires are soldered about here, the earth wires are soldered about, well, the positive wires are soldered about there, and they're both individually insulated and staggered, so there's no chance that they can short circuit with each other. And I've also got a layer of insulated tape that basically covers both of them wires. But then these 2 wires then join up to this wire, which is a bit more thicker. This is the wire I've been using for the bus, so I think it'll be more than enough. And again, around about here, I've staggered the solder joints again, staggered the wires again, so the earth connection, the black wire connection is about here, and the positive connection is about there. So they're both staggered, individually taped, and then wrapped around, once them 2 wires properly insulated. So this is going to be the loom that will go into the engine shed. So before I go about this, I've got a little trick with bulbs. Basically, especially with buildings that are like cardboard, ceramic, or materials like that, you'll get something called light bleed, where the light will basically bleed through the material, so you see the light on the outside of the building rather than just inside. Now I do have a way I'll combat this. The first ways is resistors. These two come with pre-wired resistors. I've got something that this is going to be attached to, which also brings the voltage down. So that's your first step. But what I normally do is just get some sandpaper and I'm just lightly sanding these bulbs. Basically what you're aiming for is a bit of a frosted glass effect. So you see it on camera. So you got, that's the one I've done. So this is the one I haven't done yet, and this is the one I've done. So as you can see, one's a bit more frosted glass, so this one will be a bit more dimmer than this one. The idea of doing this is basically what happens is the light has a bit more of a difficult time getting through the frosted glass of the bulb than it does if the bulb lens was okay, if you know what I mean. So you just want to rough it up a bit. It'll just be a little bit like frosted glass with the bulbs. So now we've got to get these bulbs in this engine shed. So if I just find my super glue, which is here. Turn it over. So I'm going to run these wires above the duct and between the beams. So it's a little bit fiddly, but we'll get there. Right, so I think if I glue that one in first, at least that one will be out of the way. I really don't know how much of this I'm gonna get on camera. I think my pinky's gonna be too much in the way. We'll try our best. So just gotta let that hold. So I think maybe about what? Okay, right, I think that's one bulb stuck in. Now I've got to look at this bulb now. Right, so we're just gonna look at this one now. Trying to get them into the centre as best I can. I think 2 bulbs will be enough. I think 3 bulbs would be a bit overkill. So I think two bulbs will be enough in this shed. Right, so there we are. We've got 1 bulb there, 1 bulb there. Like so. So now what I've got to do is, I think that'll be fine for there. So I'll put the lid back on the super glue. That'll probably be a good idea. So now I've got to get this wire into the hole and into the front. So I've got my light bulbs in. There's my hole. I'm just going to carefully thread it through, and then I've got just about enough of the layout poking over where I can grab it from the other end. Like that. So hopefully by the time I put the walls in, you're not going to be able to see the wire that's going down into the board. But that's my plan anyway. So hopefully it works. Right, so just going to reposition the camera now, and we're going to look at where the wires are going to be going. Right, so we're now looking at the side of the layout now, the front side of the layout. This is where most of the electronics are going to be going. I've got the switches this side for the points for when I wire them in, and this thing here is basically a controller for the track work. This is what I'm running the trains on. Just the other side of that is where I plug the mains in for the whole layout. So basically this is where I'm going to be wiring the wires to for the lights. So here's the wire that I push through, and I've got this wire here that I pre-wired in for this job. I'm just double checking. Yep, this is the power for the lights for this side of the layout. So I've got this one there, I've got another one there for lights in the middle, and there's one on the other side for any lights sort of like that side of the layout. So I'm going to mark that up, or mark both of these up, so we know which side is which, like the power going in and the power going out. So I know this is the power going out, so just mark that one. So this is the power going out, well, got the power going in, sorry. So this should be going in to the lights. So what we're going to be using, I'll be using this device. Now this is a voltage regulator, so the power goes in, and before you connect the lights up, you wire this in, turn on, you'll get like a readout there about how many volts are going in, and this screw at the top allows you to adjust the amount of volts going in. So you have like one for volts going in and another one for volts going out. So this basically brings down the voltage so you don't blow all your bulbs. So my plan is I want to attach that to about there, and I don't have a pen or pencil anywhere. I've just gotta find a marker. Right, I found a pencil now, so we're just going to mark out where this is going to go. Think about that would be ideal. I'm going to also mark out where I'm drilling holes for the wires to go through. Now I want to have these on the outside layout so I can then see what's going on with like my lighting wiring, because this tells you how much power is going to all your lights. So I want this on the outside. Right, so just remove that. Got to drill a hole there and there. Just get the drill. Right, so that's my 2 holes drilled. Now I've got to look on this unit now for what's in and what's out. So this will be the side going in, which is ideal because this is the wires with the power going in. So we'll just put them wires through now. It's got to be a bit fiddly. Right, so now I have my wires in. This is the in and this is the out, and this will be going in the middle. So what I have these small screws, got off Amazon, and these spacers that I got off Amazon. So now I've just got to find ideal spacer and an ideal screw to attach this to the baseboard. So I'm just going to do that now. Right, and now I found some appropriate screws, appropriate spacers. So now I'm going to screw on the voltage regulator. Now that I've attached the voltage regulator to the baseboard using screws and spacers, it's now time to wire up the voltage regulator. Now when it comes to attaching the wires to this voltage regulator, I want to start with the input side first and do the output side last, because you want the input side in first so you could get the initial readout of what's coming out. So on the voltage regulator you got in plus and out plus, which is basically indicating that that's the side for where the power goes in. So all the power's off at the moment. I'm just going to put the positive wire in the top where it says in positive. And the other good thing about this, there's no soldering involved with wiring this up. It's all screw terminals, so virtually plug in and play, which is always good if you're afraid of soldering, which I'm not particularly afraid of soldering, but if there's a way I can go without soldering, then I'd pick that way. So I'll just screw that terminal in. So this is the wire to the lights that I'm not attaching yet. So let's get some power to this and see what's coming out of it. If I could just stretch the wire over, bear with. Right, so if we press, right, so currently we've got 18.3 volts. Now what I like to do, I like to bring the voltage down to 2.9 volts. So this is what's going in. If I press this button, that's telling me what's going out. So currently going out is 19.2 volts. So this has got to be reduced down to 2.9 that I have on the other side. So how I do this, you've got this little screw at the top, and if you screw it, so I think possibly I might have a faulty one, because this ain't changing. So that's going in 19.2 volts. So going out, this is going out. Yeah, nothing's changing. Oh, well that's unfortunate. Unfortunately I think this quite possibly be a faulty one, because this should be going down. Oh, now it's going down. It's going down now, see? It's going down now, so I don't know what. I think it might have been overscrewed in that direction. It reached its limit. So as you can see, the numbers are going down now. So we're still at 2.8. So if we go back on that, press that one. So this is the output, well, this is the input, so this is what's coming from this side, the input side, going into the voltage regulator at 19.2 volts, and then going out is going to 2.8 volts. So what this is doing is dropping that 19 volts to 2.8 volts, and then all my lights could be attached on this side to this module, which will then protect all my bulbs. So I'm just gonna turn off the power. I always turn off the power when I'm attaching wires. So the next step is to attach the wires to the bulb into the output side. Now I should be able to light up my engine shed. So just going to do, make sure these terminals are undone. Now before I crack on, I'm just going to put the power in again. See, it's still kept 2.8 volts, so I just want to double check it's kept the memory, which it has, which is good. So we've got, on the negative side, we've got out plus and out negative on this side. So this is where we want to attach the wires for the lights for the engine shed. So that one's in. It's a bit fiddly. We'll get there in the end. Just make sure there's no wires crossing over, no fibres crossing over. Just push these wires through so we won't tag on them. Like so. Here marked up in and out on the baseboard. Now when the time comes, I'll be making like a foam board fascia all along here, so all this will be, it won't necessarily be hidden, but it'll be kind of flush with the foam board. So I'm just going to pan up to pan the camera up to the engine shed now. Right, so I'll plug the wire in. Hopefully we'll have lights, which we do. How good's that? So I'll just turn this light off at the back. Happy days. So just going to take the camera off the stand so we can have a better look. So that's the engine shed, all lit. So I've just turned the main room lights off. Yeah, I've just turned the main room lights off now, but it's still light outside, so Might have to just do a short later on where the lights are working in the dark. But yeah, I'll call that a result. As you can see, there's no light bleed in the roof, there's no light bleed in the side. You see the light in the windows. That's very nice. I mean, it's not the only building I've lit on the layout so far. I have this cottage. It's looking really nice, which again lit up with the same method. So there's my voltage regulator there for the cottage, and there's the voltage regulator there for the engine shed. Now obviously this voltage regulator is not just going to cover the engine shed. I've got to get like a thing that's like a space bar, which is like it's like another screw terminal type thing, where I could basically attach the output side of this to that, and now I could light up more buildings from this one unit, this one module. So this one will sort out any buildings that's on this side. I've got this wire here that's ready to go for another module to be in the centre to sort out any lights in the middle. And there's my bank of switches for the point motors when I wire them up, and then this module is for anything on this side of the layout. So with the lights in the shed, we'll end the video there. Look out for a short later on. I'll probably do a short later on when it's a bit more dark, with the lights going. So I hope you all found this video useful, and thank you for watching. You all take care, and bye bye.